Alan Laken says this. He says, time equals life. Therefore, waste your time, waste your life. Master your time, master your life. We've been talking a great deal about time here of late, and that has to do with one of these major compartments of personal mastery. Today I want to share with you 7 ways to more effectively manage and steward your time. Number 1 is know thyself. Know thyself. Well, Brian, what do you mean by that? Well, if I'm not really clear on who I am, on my purpose, on what it is that I'm uniquely called and created to do, if I'm not really sure about what my purpose is and what I'm trying to accomplish and all those types of things, if I don't have a clear understanding of who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing, then I'm going to just mess all my time up. I'm just going to be floating through life like an amoeba, and whatever happens, happens. So the number 1 key to really learning how to master your time is to know who you are. Know yourself. Know what it is you're called to do. What's my purpose? What's my calling? What are my passions? And we deal a lot with that here at brianholmes.com. The second key to becoming a more effective manager and master of time is have clear vision. Have very clear-cut goals, very clear-cut destinations you're trying to arrive at. Where am I going? What am I trying to accomplish? Maybe it's a project. Maybe it's a lifelong goal. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's producing an audio project. Maybe it's recording an album if you're a singer or a songwriter or a musician. Whatever the destination is, be very clear about the vision, because without vision, the Bible says people perish. If I don't have a clear understanding of where I'm trying to go, what I'm trying to accomplish, I'm never going to get there, number 1. But number 2, I'm not going to have a real strong motivation. I'm not going to have a real good framework from which to allocate my time day by day by day. So know thyself, and number 2, have a clear vision. Number 3, be goal-oriented. You've heard this all your life. Matter of fact, I don't know that there's too many people that haven't heard that, hey, it's necessary to have goals. But the truth is, if I were to poll 100 people that I work with and that I engage with and somehow interface with in my life, I bet you 25 of them have goals and 75 do not. It just blows my mind that we know you cannot hit a target that you don't have. You cannot aim for something that's just ambiguous. So we have to be goal-oriented. And I want to break these down for you in several sections. Just in this small segment here, you have long-range goals, you have mid-range goals, and you have short-term goals. Short-term goals are what can I do today? What can I accomplish this week towards this end game? Mid-range goals are, hey, by 3 months from now, I want to have 3 chapters written in this book, and I want to have most of those 3 chapters edited and taken care of. They're project-oriented, they're goal-oriented, but they're along-the-way goals. And then, of course, the long-range goals are really the target. That's the major thing you're shooting for in the project, in the goal you're putting out there. So that's just an idea about that, but you've got to be goal-oriented. So know thyself, have a clear vision, and then be goal-oriented. Number 4, you have to identify time wasters. We've talked some about this, but you have to identify time wasters. Time wasters. And ladies and gentlemen, in today's technologically driven world, my gosh, there's so many of them. But let me just give you a few that I'd like you to consider. Number 1, people can waste your time. I will tell you this, other people, even though they may be very valuable relationships in your life, they don't necessarily value your time like you do. Walk-in appointments, I don't allow them because my time is blocked off and scheduled. And if someone wants a piece of my time, they need to arrange for that, and I need to have agreed to that, because I can't just give myself away without having some sort of a management around that. People will waste your time. There are people that will talk your ear off and say virtually nothing, but they love talking, so they'll just hang with you. And if you give them an ear for an hour and a half, they'll take all your time. So you've given an hour and a half of your time in a conversation that was so one-sided, it did you no good, benefited you in no way whatsoever, but you can waste time by allowing people to take your time. Number 2, meaningless tasks can waste time. Just busy work, busy work. Not all tasks are created equal. You have to really identify what is important, what really has to be done, what's meaningful in my life. Habits, bad habits can be time wasters. Phone calls can be, look, I don't know if you need to be needed so badly that you feel like if your phone rings, you have to answer it. But listen, the truth is, if I am working on something, I'm focused on something, a call can wait. If it's an emergency, they know how to reach me and they know how to get my attention. But frankly, you have to admit this, most calls that you take don't have to be taken right now. So phone calls can be huge time wasters. So pick and choose the time and the people and the setting in which you want to receive those phone calls or engage in those conversations. Phone calls can be time wasters. Texting can be a time waster. And I know I'm going to push some buttons here and probably get some people mad at me. But I tell you what, I have a personal conviction about this, that in many regards, texting has really eroded our ability to have meaningful conversations. Acronyms and all the little things and the codes we use, it's just breaking down our ability to relate to people in the right kind of way, I believe, heart to heart and conversationally. And so anyway, that's just a little soapbox of mine, but texting can be a time waster. So if you're going to be texting people back and forth about something, ask yourself this question: is this a good use of my time, or could I do this transaction and engage in this way better in a different context? Texting can be a big time waster. Social media. Now listen, I'm a big advocate of social media. I believe there's a place for social media. I believe there's tremendous value in social media. However, with regards to Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and Vine, and man, you know, every day there's a new one coming out somewhere, Google Plus, and all of them, and they're all great. They're all useful in their own way. But the truth is, don't nobody need to know you're in the bathroom. Don't nobody need to know you're in the grocery store trying to figure out which can of green beans you want to buy. So think about it. Do you really need to pick up your phone right now and let people know where you are? And frankly, ain't nobody care. Don't nobody care. I'm being cute right now. Don't be mad at me, people. But I'm just saying to you, social media, utilize it for good relational purposes. Utilize it for some entertainment and some relief, whatever. But don't be consumed with something that becomes a time waster to you. Manage your time. Be wise with how you steward your time. How about surfing the web? Just meaningless time spent on the web surfing for virtually nothing. Perpetual planning. Some people spend more time planning than they do doing. So don't be one of these folks that spends all day long figuring out, you know, well, I've been working on this lesson plan for 20 years now, and one day I'm going to give this seminar. No, man, do something, you know. Make your time worthwhile. Make it something that's meaningful. Television, we've already mentioned to you. I believe television is great. Media is wonderful, but man, Americans waste a lot of time in front of the television. I'm just saying. Just consider that. And of course, we've already mentioned busy work. These things are time wasters, so identify time wasters. Number 5, and I'm going quickly here, weekly and daily planning. This is a tremendous key. Beginning of every week on a Sunday, sit down, look at your week, plan ahead. Look at a global picture of what can I do this week to master my time and be more productive. Then break that down with daily planning, as we've already mentioned to you. Eliminate distractions. We've mentioned that somewhat. This is a great key. Eliminate distractions. And then, of course, learn to say no. Do me a favor right now. Go ahead and say the word no. Let it roll off your lips. No. It really, you're not going to pass out if you say it. No one's going to throw a rock at you if you say it. Learn to say no. And there's good ways to say no and bad ways to say no. You can say, I ain't doing it. Or you can say, you know what? I don't have the time right now to allocate towards that, so I won't be able to take that on, but let me help you find somebody who can. Just find ways to say no, but learn to say no. I hope this has been helpful to you. 7 ways that you can actually become a master at time management, a master at stewarding and taking care of this treasure we have called time. Remember, it's a currency, it's a commodity. You can spend it, you can invest it, or you can waste it. Which one will you do? My name is Brian Holmes, and I hope this has been a blessing to you. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Until then, God bless, and may every great success come your way.